Hello everybody, welcome back for another Q&A video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. The first one says, hey TMI, love your work, thank you very much. Was wondering what your opinion is on IOTA and the tangle. I've heard that the tangle doesn't really work and have heard stories of people losing their money because one node confirms the money is there and another node does not. Was wondering if there's any truth to this or if it's just a project is actually possible. Thanks again. Have a great afternoon, morning, or evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. When I first heard about IOTA, I did not care for the project. As to be frank, it grew on me as time went on. I like that the team is still active. I like that they are moving forward in their approach as to what they're trying to do as far as being the IoT or part of the Internet of Things. And what I've seen, me, myself personally, is a bit of a shift in the project in that the original intention for IOTA was to be like a payment method. This was kind of what it was touted as, at least in the very beginning. They wanted to be if you look up what IOTA is or what their original philosophy was for the project was, if you are in a situation where you are going home, your phone can alert you that your smart fridge has noticed that there is no more milk in the fridge, and therefore your smart fridge can tell you that it looks at the milk. It's almost done. Would you like me to order more milk for you through Amazon or some other website? You can click yes on your phone, and after you've clicked yes on your phone, you will then order something from Amazon or some other place through the Internet of Things, as it were, using IOTA as a payment method. But as time has gone on and the partnerships that IOTA has formed, especially with a lot of car companies in Europe, I don't know why exclusively cars, or rather there's been a large amount of news about them partnering with car companies, but a lot of them have announced that they are simply using IOTA's Tangle because they like the approach of it. They like having their, what I think it is that a lot of it is hype, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, I think every company who's getting into the crypto / blockchain space is kind of always look for the new thing, and the Tangle has been touted as the new thing. So I think a lot of people are exclusively trying to work with IOTA, that is the company and the team, to use their Tangle because they think that it could have the possibility of being far superior than blockchain. Because if you look at what they think the Tangle is, it's kind of like an ever-increasing spider web that can only continue in all directions and therefore is massively scalable. So the issues that I've had in the very beginning with IOTA when I first started hearing about them, because you hear about a new project, I mean, with 1,600 coins, it's just not possible anymore. I don't hear about 25 new coins a day, and then I dive very deep into them. When I first heard about IOTA and that it was supposed to be like an XRP killer, that was what it was touted as at the very beginning, because they were talking about how many partnerships they're going to have, how much quicker it was, how the Tangle was going to completely destroy Bitcoin, and how much better the Tangle was. One of the issues at the very beginning was that I started hearing, I listened to things from the IOTA team, because you always listen to the actual team who made it. You 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos of them talking about it, hour-long videos, trying to get the full idea and scope of what exactly that they're doing. And then you start reading or listening to other people in the cryptocurrency space talking about their project. And it came down to the fact that not even the Ripple team, because the Ripple team, they are far too professional to go on television and down talk any other project. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. They steer clear from all of that childish stuff. But a lot of other people, dominant people in the cryptocurrency space, were coming forward talking about that the Tangle does not work. They had tested the Tangle, and even the idea of the Tangle wasn't sustainable, and at some point it would collapse. That it had focal points that could be hacked or torn apart. And when this wasn't, so usually when someone doesn't like a cryptocurrency project, you'll hear about it from about maybe 1 or 2 teams, and they trash what they feel is a threat to them. But around 15 to 16 different projects had come forward over the course of a month and a half, and they were actively talking about IOTA on Twitter. And it was very it was kind of awkward, because it's adult 30-year-old men screaming at each other on Twitter back and forth. They said, the long story short, that IOTA does not work. Now, over the course of a year from that moment where that happened, the IOTA team has been incredibly active. They've been releasing a numerous amounts of updates. They've been getting tons of partnerships, like with Volkswagen and some other electric car company in the Netherlands, if I'm not mistaken. So one can only assume that if you are Volkswagen, hopefully that they did their due diligence and actually tested the Tangle before trying to implement it inside of any of their systems. As far as apparently Volkswagen is trying to get like a fleet of self-driving cars and they will run on the Tangle. So logically, you would assume that they would have tested it and that it actually does work. As far as the IOTA token, no one seems to be using it. You can type in like IOTA partnerships, and I'm sure you'll get a lot of stuff on Google or whatever search platform you decide to use, depending on how comfortable you feel, and you'll figure out and you'll see very quickly that no one's actually using the IOTA token. That's not to say that people won't be using it in the future, but as of now, it looks like everyone is just focusing on the Tangle that could or could not be working. Like I've said before, a lot of things in the cryptocurrency space, people think that the moment you launch, you have to be perfect, everything has to be great, but that's not how it works. Like, we know that the internet right now still has a lot of faults, and the internet is more or less, as far as we've been using it, is around 25 years old, and we still have a lot of ticks to actually work out. So none of the projects that have come out now are perfect. None of them. Not even the top 3 coins. Nothing is perfect. Everything still has to be worked on. So that's not to say that somewhere down the line that the IOTA token and the Tangle won't be better and more used. But as of now, a lot of people just seem to be using the Tangle. IOTA is I don't want to say one of my favorite projects, but I don't hate them anymore, and I commend them for having gone this far and for having acquired the partnerships that they have. But yes, there is truth to as far as like that people have been saying that a couple of months ago, people have had problems with the IOTA wallet, which I think apparently has been fixed, or a new one has been rolled out. People were saying that they were losing their IOTA, that it doesn't work. People were losing their money on the Tangle. They had no actual way of getting support, because when you try and contact the team, it is not their fault anymore, as the token is supposed to be decentralized and there is no central point that you can go to say, give me my money back. So this was a problem that a lot of people were having. I haven't heard any negative news in about, has to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Nothing hyper negative about IOTA. They seem to have not fallen into the background, but this 2018 could just be the time that they're using the same as other cryptocurrency projects to be able to get their infrastructure right. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff that people were saying about the Tangle were actually true. And I can only hope or assume that they were taking their time to actually work out anything that could have been wrong with the project. Next up, it says, first of all, thank you for sharing your knowledge. I'm not that smart, but thank you. And for giving the opportunity to ask a question, no problem. I hold XRP and plan to use it in the future. However, I don't quite understand the point of burning the tokens. Will this mean that XRP tokens has a due date and that from that date will no longer exist? Ripple Ledger will still be capable of working normally with other tokens. Last question, if XRP prices increase significantly, then Ripple and other large holders will become the wealthiest people and richest people on Earth. Would this be allowed by their competitors? This is the reason why I'm a bit skeptical about a big jump in XRP price. Also, could the Ripple XRP giveaway be a threat for XRP price increase? Okay, there's a lot to dissect here. So let's see. So as far as the coin burning, I think you have a different idea of what is actually happening. Will this mean that the XRP token has a due date and from that date will no longer exist? No. It has to do with whenever XRP is sent back and forth on the network as a spam preventer. You may have noticed, rather, coins that have a fee, Bitcoin and Ethereum excluded because their fees are just kind of ridiculous. The point of having a fee on the network is so that people don't spam the network constantly. When you have no fees, one of the main arguments is that when your coin has no fees at all, that people can simply spam the network with 1 cent transactions, 50 million of them if they have a bot that can do this over and over the course of a minute, and therefore clog up your network with tons of transactions that have to be not authenticated, validated. So this is why when an XRP transaction is sent across the network, I think the fee is 0.0006 of an XRP, so like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of 1 XRP, and this is what's burned. It's the transaction cost of you sending the transaction through the network, not your actual XRP. So the XRP tokens in general don't have like a due date or like an expiration date. Like if you hold on to them for 5 years, they're not going to die in your wallet. They will simply sit there until you send the transaction, and then you will have to pay that small 0.0006 XRP fee as you are sending it. This is what's burned. So this makes XRP deflationary, unlike other cryptocurrencies, which are inflationary, as far as like we have a lot of coins that are going to continue printing cryptocurrency for the rest of that coin's life, which a lot of people are staying away from simply because it kind of puts us into another fiat currency situation. All the XRP that will ever exist and has ever existed is already there. It was the 100 billion. And this is why you may notice on CoinMarketCap or any other website when it says like not circulating supply, like a total supply of coins. It's lower than the 100 billion simply because that number that's missing from there are the XRP that have been burned and will never return back to the network. And this is why a lot of people also find value in XRP simply because it is deflationary, and therefore logically the value can only continue to increase as more people are using the token on the network, because there will always be less and less coins every single day. Okay, Ripple Ledger will still be capable of working normally with other tokens. There's been a lot of questions of people asking me, will like XRapid work with other tokens, and can you put other tokens on top of the X products? I've never heard these things. These things are always typically within border currencies, i.e. like US dollar to euro, or to, you know, like if you're in that country, and XRapid is only for the XRP token. I don't know where that came out. I saw a lot of people commenting a day or two ago that they wanted like Ethereum to run on XRapid. Like they heard that someone was going to be running Ethereum on XRapid, and therefore XRP had no. I don't know where people are getting these news from. I don't know if they're just commenting just to scare other people, but none of that is possible. I don't know where who's making this news up. Last question. If XRP price increases significantly, then Ripple and other large holders will become the wealthiest people on company and richest people on the planet. Yep, that is definitely true. Would this be allowed by their competitors? I don't think their competitors have a say in how rich we or they can become. It's estimated that even when XRP was 360, that the people within the Ripple team were already some of the richest people in the entire world. So that is going to be definitely a headline when XRP hits $10. That's going to cause a lot of people to start talking about Ripple and XRP a lot more. As far as being allowed, I'm not sure if you said what you wanted to say, and maybe when I get a lot of questions, I notice that people are typing very fast, and I think they're trying to get out as much as they can as possible. As far as allowed, there's nothing. Your competitor cannot stop you from making money or becoming rich. Like as far as the competitors to Bitcoin, more or less, is like Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Cash could do nothing from the standpoint of Bitcoin going up to 20,000. Like that has no weight. Like your competitors can be upset, but they are not allowed to stop you. This is the reason why I'm still a bit skeptical about a big jump in XRP price. Don't be. It comes down to mathematics. Don't when you think about price increases for any coin, just look at the fundamentals and look at the use cases. This is what it all comes down to. If we have proper news and solidified evidence that other companies are going to be using a certain token or a certain coin, and they're planning on using it on a certain date, and they have this type of product that is going to be used on this type of platform, and you know, just even like I said, if you look at the past for where we are now as far as like prices and stuff like that, don't be skeptical about a price rise, or rather don't be afraid about a jump in price of XRP and their competitors stopping them from doing it. I feel like I'm missing part of the translation. Also, could the Ripple XRP giveaway be a threat for the XRP price increase? I've never heard of a Ripple XRP giveaway, unless you mean the one from the Ripple team in India when they planned on giving XRP to every person in India. That's the only like major giveaway. I don't think any giveaway as far as like a Twitter giveaway or someone giving away 100k XRP is a threat for the XRP price. The entire point of them trying to give it away to every citizen, every adult citizen within India was, my guess, was to pretty much make sure that everyone in the country has some so that they can transact in it, because you can't do something like that unless you have the not the grace, like the blessings of the entire country. That's why I thought the entire situation, that's what solidified Ripple in India for me, is that they even had plans to do that. There's no unless someone is giving away like all XRP. Maybe you meant the escrow. I don't know. Also, just to clarify as well, a lot of people seem to think that the XRP that the Ripple team has in escrow can be released at the exact same time and then thrown back into the market. That's not how it works. The escrow is in 60 different accounts. There's 1 billion XRP in every single account, and in every month, 1 billion XRP is released to the Ripple team to do with as they please. This is for upgrades. This is for them traveling around the world. This is for promotion. This is for other things that they're trying to do for other people who are going to be using the XRP token and trying to build up infrastructure. And then at the end of the month, if they have used, let's say, 200 million XRP, as the price of XRP is relatively low right now, so therefore they had to use a bit more XRP. What they did not use is then locked back up into escrow for another 6-month period, and it goes it goes back to the end of the queue, or like to the end of the line. So they cannot use that again for another 5 years. It's not something that they can just, someone has a key, they turn the key, and then all the XRP simply goes back into the market. Someone was saying before in the comment section, other people were worried about him saying it, and it comes down to, even if the Ripple team did plan on releasing all of their XRP that they have back into the market, it would take them 5 years to do so. As 60 divided by 12 is 5, it would take them 5 years of waiting a month every single time to do so. And I'm pretty sure at a certain point after like a year, someone would either stop them or, they would, there's no monetary incentive for them to get rid of the coins that they have in escrow. So I hope I answered your question. I feel like I may have missed the point of some of the things floating around here. Next one says, love your channel. Thank you very much. I have a question. I am a U.S. citizen and currently living in Vietnam on long vacation. I may move to Thailand for a while. Very lucky. I would like to trade crypto. Can I set up a Coinbase account from Vietnam? I have a U.S. bank account and passport with my permanent address in the U.S. The eligibility says you must reside in one of 33 countries. Just not sure the definition of reside. Their online help doesn't seem to answer. If not Coinbase, can you suggest a safe exchange I can use? As a U.S. citizen, so reside pretty much means if you have a resident permit. If you are living in Vietnam on a long vacation, i.e. 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe, whatever months, I think you're fine. Reside pretty much means if you have gone to some type of consulate or some type of office and have signed paperwork saying, I am going to live in Vietnam for the next 3 years, you are then a resident of Vietnam. You are not a citizen, but you are a resident of that country. Same exact thing if you go to Thailand. I'm assuming by you saying for a long vacation, I assume long vacation has to be between 1 to 3 months. Same exact thing for Thailand. You are probably fine as long as you can show them proof that you are a U.S. citizen, you have a U.S. bank account, and that you have a U.S. address. This is typically all that they care about. So that covers that right here. The eligibility says you must definitely resign. All I hope they're saying. Yeah, I know sometimes a lot of these websites, I get kind of frustrated, and I understand why they do it, why their help is really bad. They try and do the most frequently asked questions, but sometimes they don't cover like the little things. You're pretty lucky to be living in Vietnam and then also to maybe be moving to Thailand for some time. Not everyone has this scenario in their life, but I try and call them or contact them. If you are trying to find a way to call the states for free from another country, if you are using, typically this works a bit better if you're using, what's it called? If you have an Android or like if you're not using iOS, there are things called free VoIP on the Google store, and I believe these are legal. I hope they're legal. And you can use these to actually call the United States for free. Simply, sometimes they'll want you to watch an ad before you make a call or something like that. But if you go into the store and type in free and then space VoIP, you can find actual phone apps that you can use on your phone or on your tablet that you can actually make a call to the United States. And it might be a bit easier for you to call the Coinbase team and ask them, as I do not work for Coinbase, I cannot give you a definite answer, but this typically seems to be the way. As far as residing, if you are still living and a citizen and your permanent address is in the United States, you're probably fine. But I would still contact them. Obviously, like I said, I don't work for Coinbase, so I can't. Don't take my word as law, as I am not Coinbase. Next up, namaste, my friend. First of all, thank you very much for answering my question. Brother, do you think it's time that the crypto industry comes together as one and demands fair and favorable regulations from governments instead of being left in a cloud of uncertainty and doubt? Should the exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, Bittrex, Gemini, etc., and project developers like Ripple, EOS, Ethereum team, Bitcoin core developers form a sort of trade business union which should act as a pressure group and raise the voice of the community on front of government agencies? Do we need a cryptocurrency and blockchain union? So we already actually have something like this. I don't know if you missed the story. This was a couple of months ago. There are a couple of places who have joined the Winklevoss twins to create like a self-regulatory group. And the point of the self-regulatory group is that they will come together, as it were, and try and make up or ideas or what they feel might be good for the cryptocurrency community. And they'll take that information and they'll throw it at the government and say, this is what we want. This is how we feel. This is how the network is working. And this is what we do. Because the fear is that the government simply not understanding exactly what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, and maybe they don't want to understand what's happening in the cryptocurrency space, that they may hamper innovation and not understand the type of rules that they should put, or think that they should simply knock on top, the old rules that we had, throw them on top of us and think that everything is fine. So they've actually formed something like this. The issue is that a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space, like I've said before, know each other, and a lot of times they do not like each other. So there's a lot of conflict here. I know Coinbase and Gemini, I think they know each other more or less, but there's a reason why they have separate entities. The Gemini twins, the Winklevoss twins, they like to stand on their own, it seems. They like to work with other people as long as those people are under them, if that makes a bit of sense. I don't ever see a scenario where the Geminis are under Coinbase, if that kind of makes a bit more sense as well. A lot of people from Coinbase we know don't like the Ripple team. A lot of people, Ripple tends to be, the most democratic. They don't talk openly about this, but it's clear that there's some type of friction between a lot of these people. A lot of the Bitcoin Core developers who were there before actually left and actually went to the Ethereum team. I think even one or two of the people left Ethereum to make EOS. Like it's a whole bunch of different things. So I don't see a lot of these teams working together, but we do have something like this in the works. There's also something like this in Japan. There's also something like this in the United Kingdom, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's one in Canada, but they're trying to kind of make a little consortium type of thing where people can come together and kind of voice their voices to their governments or to organizations and tell them this is how we should feel things should go on. I'm not sure exactly how good these things will be as far as in the future, like if they are powerful enough to actually have any type of influence to be able to tell the government what they think should be going on. But I definitely do think that we should have something like this, and maybe even if they find that if they find it in their hearts to actually join this group as well, I think it would make a bit more sense, simply because everyone seems to be kind of in their own corner thinking that they're doing their own thing. But I said this before many months ago, all it takes is for the government to find one thing wrong and stamp out the entire thing. So it would be good if everyone kind of came together, but I think there's a lot of old bad blood between a lot of the people in the cryptocurrency space. But as of now, we do kind of have something similar to this, and I would like if they were a bit more vocal to the community, as in, we could know exactly what they're planning, or we could voice our opinion as to what we think should happen in the cryptocurrency space. But I feel like, once again, these are also very extremely rich people, and I think that they know more than everybody else simply because they have made money, they have money, and therefore they should be able to say what they think should happen in the cryptocurrency space, and they should be able to take the piece of paper to the law and then tell them what should happen to crypto, if that makes any sense at all. Next up, says, with all the Ethereum-focused debit cards on the market like 10x and Monaco, what are your thoughts on the efficiency of using these cards for the majority of one's spending and saving while keeping fiat funds to a minimum? Is this the best way to be able to be ready for the next bull run? Will these cards bring us mass adoption? Thank you. Love your channel. Focus on card. What are your thoughts on the efficiency of using these cards? I guess they're fine. I don't use any of them myself. I had a friend last year, haven't spoken to her in quite some time. I know she was using one of these cards. I'm not sure if it was 10x or Monaco. It was some other coin, but she was using it. She had linked it to her crypto account, and she was using it on a daily basis. I know that she loved it. She said it was very efficient in the way that she was trying to be able to spend her money, as she was getting more money from crypto than she was from her actual job. I'll say it that way. As far as saving, I don't see a reason to save crypto with these cards, especially since they're already linked to your cryptocurrency account. I feel like just saving the crypto in your account is probably sufficient enough. I know there are a lot of people who are trying to live exclusively off of crypto, not even like there were people who did it as an experiment a couple of years ago, and I know that a lot of people are trying to live exclusively off of cryptocurrencies now, as it is actually plausible, especially with cards like this. You can just spend your crypto everywhere. Is this the best way to be ready for the next bull run? I feel like I'm missing part of the question. I would just keep my funds in a wallet on my computer or on a nano to be ready for the next bull run. Like, just keep everything safe. If you're trying to prepare for the next bull run, I don't think spending your crypto is probably the best way to do so, especially with prices this low. Will these cards bring us mass adoption? That's the idea. The idea is that we will have either some type of spending app that really hasn't caught on. We have at least 10 of them that are floating around out there that people are trying to get other people to use in order to adoption doesn't happen forcefully. Forced by force. You can't tell people, I have this great new thing, use it, it's amazing, it's going to bring about adoption. This is why so many other things have been adopted the way that they have. It happened organically. And I could see a future where these cards that are linked to cryptocurrency accounts bring about mass adoption of cryptocurrency use and cause our volume to completely skyrocket, simply because we are used to using cards. We're used to tapping cards. We're used to swiping cards and then walking out of the store, walking out of the Starbucks. So I could see these definitely becoming a thing. But the ones that we have now, they tend to be only popular within the cryptocurrency space. I wouldn't be surprised at all if by 2019, end of 2019, we had something from the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ or even Coinbase who were announcing that they were launching some type of a card that could be linked to your cryptocurrency account. As Coinbase is also trying to become a bank, I could definitely now that I think about it, I could definitely see that being a thing. Them issuing cards, if they get their banking license, which I'm pretty sure they're going to, and you have your crypto ready with them and you can link it to your name, I'm almost certain that would definitely be a thing, and that would definitely help for the mass adoption of the cryptocurrency space. Because how much easier could it possibly be than having a card that's linked to your crypto account? I wonder how they would deal with like different coins. Maybe with the entire backed thing, if you had your card and you like tapped it onto the screen, you could click like which coin do you want to pay in. That'd be kind of, I feel like I say a lot of things on this channel that could be patented, and I don't do anything with them. So if you are a patenter, please use these things, spread crypto to the masses, because that sounds like a pretty good idea, and I'm pretty sure Coinbase maybe has something like that already in mind. If not, please take my idea. I just want the prices to go up. I'm tired of this bull market, or rather bear market. Yeah, I want a bull market. Anyway, let's continue on. This one says, hey, I love your videos. Thank you very much. Daily viewer, thank you very much. I have two questions. The first one is concerning OmiseGo. I was heavily invested in OmiseGo, but I ended up selling all my tokens about a month ago after getting frustrated at the team for not releasing their product on time. Do you think that OmiseGo is still a legitimate project? My second question concerns XRP. What are your thoughts on them requiring you to hold at least 20 XRP in order to hold a wallet? So first with OmiseGo, heavily invested. One, I am sad that the market made you frustrated and that you felt that you had to sell your OmiseGo. I think OmiseGo is one of the most promising projects that we have in the cryptocurrency space right now. Just if you look at, like, I think I said this in the last video as well, if you look at the partnerships that they have and that they signed with an entire country, that is a huge indication of probably where the OmiseGo space and token and team and project is going to go. I know a lot of people have been very frustrated with OmiseGo, but you have to understand that this isn't something like crypto isn't going to be mass adopted in like March 2019. You know, everyone's going to be dancing in the streets, you know, throwing their coins around in the air, going around and paying for everything. This is the cryptocurrency space right now is trying to take over the old financial space. XRP is trying to take the place of the old banking sector. OmiseGo is trying to essentially kind of do the exact same thing. They kind of have the same idea, give or take. You know, they want to unbank the banked, as they typically say. You have to, like, this is going to take some time. A lot of people have become frustrated because the market is down. They don't hear from the OmiseGo team. They don't hear from this team. Why are there no updates? Why are there no this? They are, what they're, like I said, the current financial world that we have right now has been around for more or less 200, 300 years, depending on if you want to go all the way back to like the Netherlands in like the 1600s when they first were like trading things. We're trying to completely topple the old way and bring about a new way. And this doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't even happen 2 years. Like I've expressed my frustration before with Ethereum taking so long to kind of get things together. I mean, I personally believe in OmiseGo. I know they don't give a lot of updates, but a lot of other projects, if you pay attention as well, have also not given us a lot of updates. A lot of the updates that we have been from Bitcoin, because there's always other people and other companies working on Bitcoin updates. XRP, simply because Ripple is an actual like team of people, and they fly around the world, and this is why we constantly have news about them. And also from Ethereum, because there are a lot of people around the world who are trying to build on top of Ethereum. And also Vitalik Buterin is texting. He's tweeting like every single day, so therefore we're going to have a lot of news from them. A lot of the other projects, like Salt and like Funfair, we didn't hear about them for quite some time, but they're still there. So don't assume that they are completely gone. They're definitely still there. They're one of the people who are also trying to work on, like I said, Plasma to be able to scale Ethereum. So don't think that just because you haven't heard from them for a couple of months that they have fled to Bali or something like that. Yes, I still think it's a legitimate project. My second question concerns XRP. What are your thoughts on them using or requiring you to hold at least 20 XRP in order to hold a wallet? This was done as spam prevention, if I'm not mistaken. They said that one of the reasons that they had this is so that they could, I don't remember the exact reasoning behind it. It has something to do with spam prevention on the network, as far as like, because they implemented this when their price was below 1 cent. And this is something that they still have not taken off. And a lot of people have been like, hey, this is, that's more money that I could have or invest into something else, especially if we do get to a point where XRP is actually $10, then that's $200. That's locked on your computer. I mean, it's just how it is. There are a lot of other coins as well that have similar implementations or have higher transaction fees, and this was meant to prevent spam on the network. I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to stop this. If we ever do eventually, someday in some magical land, end up getting to a point where XRP is $100, there's going to be a ruckus, and people are going to be like, hey, release these. And I could see them definitely lowering it to like maybe half an XRP or a fourth of an XRP. But like I said, if I'm not mistaken, this was done to prevent spamming on the network. But I assume, or one can only assume, that they will eventually drop this or lower the amount that has to be stored in the actual wallet. Hope I answered your question. Next up, a lot of people, it's really interesting. I get a lot of emails, as you may have noticed, and a lot of them focus on XRP. Don't assume that I'm just like choosing the XRP ones, like, rubbing my fingers together, like XRP questions. I get a lot of XRP questions, and a lot of them are exactly the same, but a lot of them focus just on XRP. So I felt like I had to explain why I'm getting a lot of XRP questions, or why there are usually so many in the emails. And usually, typically, like about 8 of them will come in, and I'll read through them, and they're almost all exactly the exact same question. So I end up choosing like the shorter question, because some of them are like paragraphs and it just takes forever. So this one says, I'm an XRP accumulator, and I'm excited for the implications of its use case potential. One thing concerns me. If XRP's primary use case is in banking, and a banking collapse, right, using the banking and a banking collapse more severe than 2008 were to occur, whilst I can see the logic in a migration to coins like Bitcoin, would the XRP token not suffer, given that the very institution it serves to support are in turmoil? So that is it's a deep question, but I think it's something that a lot of other people haven't really covered. So I'm going to try my best. If you've noticed over the last couple of months, we know that XRP, or rather we know that Ripple is forming partnerships with banks who are going to be using XRapid and are also going to be using XRP. But you may have noticed that they've also moved a bit away from banking exclusively, i.e. there are a lot of other things around the world that actually allow us to be able to send money back and forth, and this is what they're trying to also capture as well. So this comes down to like institutions, not just banks, exchanges, people using apps and or dApps that are going to be using XRP as well, remittances. Don't think that just because there's a banking crisis that people still aren't sending money back and forth. I think part of the confusion lies in that people think that if a banking or financial collapse is happening, that people are no longer sending money back and forth. When the 2008 crisis happened, people were still using their bank accounts. People still had to take out money and were sending money to their friends. We didn't have the apps that, all the fancy stuff that we have now to be able to send money, but people were still transacting in money back and forth. People will still continue to use their banks should there even be another crisis, because people need to use money. People will still need to send money back and forth to their friends. And this doesn't stop or heavily affect the use of XRP, if you kind of get what I'm saying, like the entire point of XRP is to be a payment method that goes through the bank. So the XRP is being sent back and forth. People aren't going to stop buying groceries and food and clothes and shoes and video games and all these other things through their bank just because there is a banking collapse. Like, we will have banks that will probably flounder like we had before. But XRP is still going to be used in a million of other ways. Like the other institutions, like should we have MoneyGram or Western Union actually using XRP? People and they're actually also targeting other money institutions as well, not just those two anymore. Like, people will still need to send money back to their family overseas and to other countries and as birthday gifts. Like, these will all still then be going through XRP. So that's all still XRP being used. The same exact thing with crypto exchanges. If a banking collapse does happen, crypto exchanges that have XRP as a base currency will still be running. Like, these crypto exchanges don't collapse and die because there's a banking crisis. XRP will still be used in this way as well. If there are a lot of people who are working on apps and dApps and other things like that are going to be using XRP through their system, people will not drop these apps or throw their phone into the garbage because there's a banking collapse, if that kind of makes any kind of sense. So XRapid will still be used and XRP will still be used to send funds back and forth. As XRP is not a stock and XRP is not tied to a stock, that's what I think a lot of the confusion comes from. People think that during a financial collapse, we have stocks that ends up falling down to zero or completely collapsing, or like some of the largest clothing brands and stuff like that, they lost like 80% of their value. XRP isn't a stock. XRP is a payment method and a coin that sends and transacts value back and forth. That's not going to stop because the stock market has crashed or that banks aren't doing too well. Like, regardless of how bad a bank is doing, this doesn't stop people from taking out money or depositing money or transacting money or sending money through an app or sending money through some other place that they can get to some other person. I hope I covered your question. I've seen a lot of people asking this over the last. This is another thing, not blaming you at all, but I think this is another thing that I've heard over the last couple of weeks where a lot of people have not. They've been confused, and I've seen people, and it's so obvious who these people are. The people who don't like XRP, what they've started talking about is that XRP won't be used during a banking collapse. And the other thing, since they no longer have a decentralized argument and no one's going to be using XRP, they keep talking about that the Ripple team can print more XRP whenever they want. I'm not sure who's writing these fairy tales, but you guys are very inventive. Keep up the good work. Like I said, you not holding XRP is not going to stop the price of XRP from going up. It's just you not holding XRP while everyone else has it. There's kind of all that I'm going to say on that. So I hope I answered your question. I'm pretty sure I did. Hope I answered it though, but still, yeah, XRP won't be heavily affected because the Ripple team has been making sure that they're just not focused 100% on banking anymore. They're still getting banks to join on with them. This is why we were talking about they have 200 banks who have joined them and also 50 central banks who are their partners right now. But they're also making sure that XRP has about 1,001 other use cases, and that is being used as other money transmitting services that are out there. Next one says, first of all, thanks for all the videos you make. No problem. Very informative. My question, do you think that privacy crypto coins like Monero, Dash, and Zcash, Digibyte, or another one, etc., are a big deal in the crypto space? Or are they a big deal, or are they gonna be big? If yes, which ones do you like? One would assume that investing wise, Digibyte is interesting because it's cheap, but that should not be the only reason to invest in a coin. Thank you for your time in advance. Keep those XRP vids coming. I'll try my darndest. First question is, do you think privacy coins like Monero, Dash, and Zcash, Digibyte, or another one are a big deal? I think privacy coins in general are a very big deal. I think I would like, ideally, if Bitcoin and Ethereum had some type of privacy technology already built on top of them. I think it's taken quite a long time. I still have a theory that the people, hopefully, I don't know. I tend to have a lot of wishful thinking, and a lot of it is just me, hoping that something actually works out. I still hope that by the time Bitcoin is implemented everywhere and everyone's using it as a payment method with Backed, that a lot of the teams out there will simply just implement privacy things on top of it so that people can continue using Bitcoin. But that is, it has like a type of privacy thing. As far as the other ones, the ones that are actual privacy coins, I think they are major. I think this is why, if you notice look at the price of Monero, Dash, and Zcash in 2017 and look at how far that they jumped up. It was kind of due to also, the crypto market hype, but a lot of people are figuring out that Bitcoin, like I said, can be traced and is synonymous. No, it's definitely not synonymous. Bitcoin can be tracked, and these coins, for what it's worth, are a lot more difficult to track. And a lot of people want to be able to say that they have control over their own finances and they're doing whatever they want to do without other people saying that they have, you don't want a third party to have a say in what you spend your money in. Do I think they're going to be big? Yes, I think they're going to be a lot larger than they already are now. Do I think they have a bright future? That is another question. I think, like I said before in another video, governments have called out these three coins specifically, and that is a very big red flag as far as like their future adoption. We know that Zcash has been listed on Gemini, but also Zcash has something where you can like lower your shields or something like that in the coin. So this is why they listed it, because they've also even said that they're only going to accept transactions of Zcash from wallets that have lowered their shields, i.e. they can track you and see exactly where you're sending it from and blah, 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 blah. Do I like any of them? I'm going to be 1,000% honest. They are probably on the exact same level, all three of them for me, just equally. I don't really care for privacy coins. I can see the price of them rising, but not as much as other coins that are going to be used daily on an active basis. I prefer not to, this is me personally, get into another coin that has been called out specifically by another government. Like, imagine if all the governments or the governments that have called out these three coins had, released some sort of statement talking about, oh, we like Ethereum, but Bitcoin, Bitcoin, no one can list that on their exchanges. This is why these three coins haven't been listed on major exchanges around the world. It's simply because the governments are afraid of these three coins. So do I think they have a future? Yes. Do I think they're going to be big? Yes. But not in the way that people are expecting them to do so. And this is kind of, like I said, the way that I feel about it. I would rather focus on coins that I think will have a much larger future and everyday adoption. That's not to say that these won't be used every single day, but I don't know the way that they're going to be used, and I'd rather do things as by the books as possible, because I don't like getting in trouble. That's a kind of, I'll say that. So as far as liking one of them, all three of them are equal to me. All three of them are all popular. They're all the most well-known privacy coins that we have on the market. So they kind of all fit together with me. Digibyte, one would assume that investing wise, and Digibyte is interesting because it's cheap. But that should not be the only. So a lot of people have been talking about Digibyte for quite some time, and I think it has to do with the price. I understand the tech is there. I understand that these are really cool coins and these are also amazing and so. But a lot of people tend to focus on coins that have a lower price because they think in their mind that the price could skyrocket simply because this coin is only 1 cent. This coin is only 1 cent. I don't see any reason why it couldn't go up to $1. That's logical, especially if a coin has around like 25, 30, 40 billion tokens floating around. That's definitely, $1 is definitely possible. There's nothing out of the realm of possibility for that. Don't invest in the coin simply because it is inexpensive and you are hoping that other people will then also buy into the fact that it is inexpensive. It has to have an actual use case. A lot of people in the comment section, I'm pretty sure a lot of these are bots, have been talking about a number of other coins that they're telling people to get, and they're like, man, this coin is only 2 cents. You got to get into it because at some point it's going to be around $45. I just know it. Like we had some other coin a couple days ago where someone was talking about it was going to go to $75, and then a lot of people talking about that certain coins that are like half a cent or 1 cent right now are definitely going to go up to 150. Their friend told them that, and I'm like, I hope that other people in the comment section aren't falling for this stuff. The point is, it's not about a coin being cheap or that it could be a larger, a great investment. I said we're getting to the point right now where at least I assume or I think that your coin actually has to have a use case. And as far as these three coins, they have proven themselves over the last couple of years that they do have a use case in that people who want privacy are going to be using them, if that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it should not be the only reason that you're investing in a coin just because the price is really low and you think that during the bull market is going to pop up, because part of the mistake will be is that your coin could definitely pop up by 15%. but another coin that you could have invested in that has a brighter future could be popping up by 25%. And by the time you cash out of that cheap coin that you thought was going to go a lot higher, and you try to buy into the bigger coin that actually has somewhat of a bright future, you're then still getting less of what you could have got before, because the other coin that's actually good and is going to be used has already outpaced the gains that you made from the smaller coin. Hope that makes sense. Next one says, hello there. I've been watching your videos for over a year now. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the hard work you're putting in to give us information and updated news. I have a request. If could someday make a short video about kin, where to buy it and how to store it. I couldn't find a valid information about that, so I don't even have to make a short video on that. I guess this will be the short video, like this portion right here. Where to buy it and how to store it. If you actually go to CoinMarketCap and then click on kin, or rather type in kin. If you go to markets right here, you can actually see all the crypto markets that are actually transacting in kin at the moment. The volume is incredibly low, simply because the entire market is very low, and as kin is the 107th coin right now, and the app that is actually using kin, their Kick app, is still in like testing beta, so I think only certain people within the United States are still able to use it. Or rather, they're testing to see how good it's going to be within the market. The point is, so these are the markets, these are the places where you can actually get your kin and use your kin and trade it back and forth. I have never used Bancor Network. Apparently, it's very popular. It has the highest volume as far as, being able to use it. I think this is CNY, I think that's Chinese currency. I'm not 100% sure. But these are the places where you can actually transact in kin, or rather get the kin that you want. And as far as holding it and storing it, I would recommend the Exodus wallet. I like Exodus. They update their platform once a week. They're already, if you look at all these other coins, they're supporting all of these other coins, and they continue to support all these other coins. They're adding new coins constantly all the time. They have not officially added kin, but they do have a section where they have added support for ERC20 tokens. And where is it? Yeah. The ERC20 tokens that they have added support for are some of these right here. And kin is also one of them. So therefore, you can actually store your kin on the Exodus wallet, which is also a very good choice if you're looking for a place to be able to store your cryptocurrency, not on an exchange, but on your desktop. They also have the platform actually allows you to actually have your own password as well. So you can lock up your coins on your desktop. It's very easy to get kin as long as you are on one of these exchanges. And as far as what was the other thing, how to store it, the easiest way I think at the moment to store kin, as the app has not officially launched, and therefore you cannot have your kin on their app unless you are in a specific area in the United States where they are doing their testing, would then be to have it on the Exodus wallet. And usually when the Exodus wallet does stuff like this, when they add support for something, they typically wait for the main net to officially launch, for everything to be stable, for everything to be good on it, and then they typically add a coin. So I could definitely see within the next, I don't even know, I don't want to give you a time frame, 6, 7, 8, 9 months, maybe sooner, that they could actually add the kin token completely together. Because what happens is that on the Exodus wallet, you're actually able to swap back and forth between all the coins that they have listed on their thing. So you can swap between Zcash into XRP or into so-and-so or into this and into back and forth. And yeah, you cannot do that on kin. You can only hold it and store it on there, which is still isn't bad. You'll still be able to send it back and forth between exchanges. But I would definitely probably recommend to look at this chart to see which exchange you feel comfortable with, and simply store your kin on the Exodus wallet, as they are one of the best wallets that we have out there right now. And I'm pretty sure they're one of the few wallets that has any type of support for holding kin out there. Last question says, when I first read this, I actually laughed because I was trying to understand what he was saying, and I hope that I actually got what the question was. So the question is, where does the money go? He said, detail. An older gentleman that stops by my office about 3 times a week keeps asking everyone this question every time crypto comes up in conversation. What's the most concise way to respond to this? Thank you for being a lighthouse for others. What I assume you're asking is that some older gentleman walks into your office 3 times a week, and when people in your office are talking about cryptocurrencies, the older gentleman doesn't understand where the fiat money goes when it goes into crypto. it's kind of, this is what I got from it. And I really hope I'm correct. This is why, the question wasn't that clear, but I think I got what you're talking about. And I can see where people would be confused, like as if you imagine going to like a Bitcoin ATM and sliding your money into it. And then you look at your phone and you got the Bitcoin. And then you think like, where did that money go? It's just it's kind of like, think of it this way. It's like, imagine, like when we were younger, or I don't know if they still even have these things anymore, like inside of certain stores or inside of supermarkets, they would have like the little thing, like little machines. You could put a quarter or like, some change inside of it and turn the knob, and then the little gumball would fall out. So you got the gumball, but the money was gone. But then later on in the day, whoever owned the gumball machine would simply take the money out, and that was then their money that they got for actually having sold you a gumball. So like you got the Bitcoin, you got the gumball, and the money's gone, but it ends up going to somewhere else. The money just goes back into circulation. It's pretty much like if you go to a bank, like when you, like certain banks have a thing where you can like deposit money directly into your bank account. Like the money doesn't disappear. It just goes back into circulation. So when you are putting money into cryptocurrencies, the fiat money that you put inside simply goes back floating around again. Like whoever is owning that Bitcoin ATM or any other place where you're getting your money from, they take the money out and they use that as their profits, and you get the crypto, and this causes the price of the cryptocurrency that you're holding to then go up because you were transacting in it. I think that's the most logic. I hope once again that I understood exactly what you were saying. Where does the money go? It goes back to whoever had it. It's the exact same way that everything else works. Like if you transact in something, you are getting the thing that you bought, and then the rest of the money either goes back into their bank account or goes somewhere else. And that money that people were or could have been using, like the fiat money that they would have been using normally, has now been more or less converted into crypto. Like the fiat currency doesn't simply implode, but as time goes on, the idea is that as more fiat money has been pushed into crypto, less people are transacting in fiat, and therefore the fiat becomes even more worthless and useless because people aren't using it. So I hope I got what you were talking about. If I did not, please let me know. There's not much detail here. That's why I was like, what's the most concise way to respond to this? I was like, I don't know. And then I kind of got, where does the money go from an older gentleman? So I ascertained that an older gentleman must be asking, where does the paper money go when you're buying cryptocurrencies? That's as far as I got in my head. All right, everyone. That is definitely going to do it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, and or evening. Wherever you are, wherever you might be, thank you once again for watching and or listening. Keep those questions coming. Very interesting questions, the things that people have in their heads and the things that they think. I enjoy all of them. Thank you once again, and I'll talk to you all soon. See you.